Good afternoon, everybody. I genuinely cannot believe that I've rocked up here live on camera wearing a bikini. Now, this is day one of the 5 lives with myself and Amanda Delaney. Just let me give you a bit of background as to why we're doing this. So, myself and Amanda Delaney, next month on the 13th of August, we are doing our values workshop in the Hilton Hotel at 2 p.m. till 5 p.m. And it was a roaring success for people the last time that we did this together. So when Amanda and I were speaking together in Ardgillan Castle recently, I said to her, let's do that again. People need that. People are always, when I'm in one-to-ones with people, I know that that's one of the things that they need to work on is their values. So today's topic is about what our values individually, Amanda Delaney and I, what our life looked like before we had established our values and before we had applied them into our life and before we had displayed them out to the public every single day. The situation is this. It is a non-negotiable for me to not live with inside my values every single day, because the feeling that I recall, and it still happens to me sometimes, the feeling that I recall when I didn't live inside my values was general panic, anxiety, fear, and a whole lot of people pleasing. So before I established my values, on a daily basis, I would say to myself, if they're all right over there, if I've fixed and taken care of everybody else, well then I'm okay. So I was getting my self-esteem from other people's happiness and other people's peace. As long as they were not losing the head, being calm, being nice, and me running around like a lula trying to fix everything, if they're okay, I'm okay. So what I realised I was doing was I was living inside the parameters of other people's values and not my own. And I did that to my detriment, to the point that I was taken advantage in every which way. Mentally, emotionally, my time was a big one. I was always giving me time away to other people and not leaving enough time for me. Taking care of their needs, minding their kids, doing their food shopping, running errands. I'm a kind and generous person. I am. But I did it to me detriment. I did it to the point where nobody really kind of offered me a help ever, because people thought that I was superhuman. And sure, Nicola can do everything. Look at her there now. She's great young. I was also taken advantage of financially. And I would not have been in a financial position to be helping anybody financially. Sure, I was making my way in the world. And I can recall one time somebody had asked me if they could borrow money. And I said, I will lend it to you because I can see that you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. But I need that back by this date, because that's when all the bills come out of my account. And they were like, yep, absolutely, I'll have it back to you before then. And I cleared my account for that person. Very, very naive of me. I'm delighted that you're here, and I'm delighted you were able to get on. But what I was saying so far is about the feeling and the people that I attracted to myself before I got before I got my values in place, because your values and your boundaries are interlinked. So listen, tell me, Miss Delaney, what did your life look and feel like before you established your high core values?
It felt very painful, rocky, thorny, uncomfortable, paranoid.
Oh,
Yeah, so lots of all those not very disempowering feelings. And it looked like chaos on steroids.
chaos. Okay.
Chaos, chaos. And it's not a place, it's a great place to come from a learning perspective
Mm.
and from a parental perspective, because I
Okay.
can
Can you explain
see
that?
I can see now, how, being a mammy of 4 kids,
Mm.
once I learned values, the game changed.
Yeah.
So I can very much see what I do, I look out for, and I try and be aware of where my kids' values are, and and empowering them around boundaries and owning what they stand for.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, the biggest thing for me was the confidence, and the confidence and peace, and I had neither, because I was looking and admiring confidence in others, but doing all the wrong things to fit in, because I was so far removed from even knowing that I valued that or knowing how to get that.
Okay. So if you, back then, do you feel like you weren't a confident person?
100%.
Okay. So if you weren't a confident person, what way were you displaying your lack of confidence daily? How were you putting that out into the world? What does that look like?
I love that. I always look at it from 2 perspectives now.
Mm.
From my outer world, my shell, and from the inner world. So if you were to look at me back then, my shoulders were completely rolled, my head was down, to the point where friends used to walk behind me with their finger between my shoulder blades to straighten me up. And if I tried to do that, it was uncomfortable. Wow. I always rolled myself in and was small. On the outside, the body image. Okay, I did that much drinking and, eating crap that I absolutely loaded my body. So my self-esteem when it came to my body, my confidence in my body was very, very low. I didn't exercise. I didn't eat the right foods. I continuously disrespected the body. And of course I attracted it was like evidence. It was like, well, show her. Shovel everything in.
Yeah,
and then
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, yeah. So
I
compared yourself to everybody else. Like my friends were in the gym. They were working out. They had bodies that showed what they were doing with their bodies. And I had mine that showed mine. But yeah, I was comparing one to the other. And bringing the confidence down even lower.
You're very body confident now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I share a short conversation that you and I had yesterday?
Of course you can.
Okay. So Amanda and Ian invited me along to hike with them. Novice. Like, really bad. They're the professionals. I'll be going, which is, again, I learned a lot from yesterday. But when we were hiking, a conversation around your physical body came up. And Amanda said, I have a bit of weight on. And I said, and I do too. And the next word out of Amanda's mouth really went straight into my heart. She didn't come up with a plan of, oh, well, this, and this, because we all hold on to weight for a reason. A reason. There's always a reason. Okay? Don't forget that. And like, this is a whole other workshop. We talked about this for weeks. Amanda's response to our conversation was, it'll come off when it's ready.
Yeah.
It'll come off when it's ready. Because, what's going on in your physical body is mirror image of what's going on in between here. And we need weight on for different reasons, our season. But maybe we could address that more at the values workshop.
I definitely think so. I've learned a lot this year and the last 2 years around this. And I have spoke about it on Instagram. Haven't mentioned it for a while, so I will share that. And that is very valuable for the values workshop, because I really have, it's like I have a helicopter view about this weight issue now. And it is a season. And I know why. I know why. Do you know? So I still love it. I love all of it.
Yeah, listen, it gets you around. It's your temple,
How many mountains am I hiking? It's an incredible body.
And she's as fit as a fiddle. But what Amanda said there is very important. It's understanding the why you hold weight. Okay, I wasn't expecting this conversation to go on this angle, but it's obviously come up for a reason. Because people say to me all the time, oh, it's this, and oh, it's that, and oh, I've tried all the diets. Stop, stop. Marketing agencies know how to get into your brain to tell you why you're overweight and tell you all the reasons how you're going to lose it. Forget it. It's like depression and anxiety. Stop. Peel the layers of the onion right back and ask yourself the question, why do I have this weight on me? Responsibility.
And no judgment, folks.
And zero
It's
judgment.
non-judgmental. Non-judgmental. It's that fact of, I decided with this weight to be satisfied and love the body I'm in right now. And without getting too much, I have tried the diet route, and now I know why that didn't work. I was solid at it, and I was like, this used to work before, but I was never who I am now before.
Yes.
What I've experienced in the last 2 years, never experienced that before. I'm experiencing it now.
Yes,
It's
yes.
a season. I'm going through a season, and that's okay. But what wasn't okay was to load that body again, like I used to all those years ago. That's not acceptable. That's not in line with who I am. That's tomorrow's.
Self-love.
That's tomorrow's live.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's
Self-love,
live. But
self-compassion.
the old me was body confident. It was posture. It was fitting in. It was comparing myself to others, like literally drooling over people who were confident and berating myself up for not saying things, doing things, constantly bricking myself for not doing this or that, and it was always to be like or sound like someone else.
Yeah, mimicking.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? I wonder now if the way my values were compromised years ago because I wasn't living them. One of the main things for me, Amanda, was I gave my time away all the time at the detriment to myself and my family. Did you ever experience that, where you gave your time constantly running around after other people?
It's not jumping into a vivid memory or a solid memory. For me, it was more around that confidence, feeling like the idiot, being laughed at, disrespected. Respect was a big thing for me, rather than time. Yeah, it was more disrespectful. But yeah, that would have been for me.
Did you feel like people were disrespecting you?
All the time.
Right.
I felt laughed at, and people not showing up, people letting me down. When you ring someone not ringing you back.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah, like it was crippling disrespect for me. But again, knowing what
Hang on, that is related to time.
Okay, yeah,
that is related to time.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually getting shivers in my legs. Because you and I said yesterday morning, right? You were like, I was afraid you weren't going to come because you weren't in touch with me.
Yes.
And I said, no, when I make a commitment, whether I've been in touch with you for a couple of days before or not, I'm still turning up on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock in a mountain where I don't know where I'm going.
And that was part of the conversation going to bed the night before. There's something, either Nicola's out of communication, she never would say she's going to do something and not do it. Never. And I had that conversation last week when we had a call as well.
Yes.
What did I say to you? I was under no illusion you wouldn't be on this call if you're a woman of your word.
Yes, congruency. But I suppose to get back to people taking advantage of your values with that is your time is equally as important as other people's time, and other people's time is equally as important as your time. So people were taking the piss with your time.
Because I wasn't valuing it either.
So they weren't showing up for you.
Yeah. But I didn't know what values were. So how could we ever really get a handle on something that's not taught in the schools? It's not taught at home. Because our parents hadn't a clue.
Yeah.
That stuff wasn't around back then. We were living through what we seen and absorbed from the time we were brought into the world, through personal experiences and what we watched.
Yes.
But like and in that world, the two things I've spoken about so far is the confidence and the respect. It was like a loop. No matter in work, family, friends, didn't matter where I went, the same stuff was happening all the time.
Yeah. Do you know what, Amanda's
just with
after coming
different
back to me
people.
there? And it's giving me a flippy stomach, and that is a massive indicator that your values are being taken advantage of. And also, this is a prime example of what you think about, you feel about, you bring about. So your
Yeah.
brain doesn't know whether you're looking at a memory or projecting into the future, or if it's happening for you right now. This is what's after happening for me when you were talking. I remembered a time when there was a person in my life, it was a couple of years older than me, and I really, really looked up to them. I really looked up to them. And I was kind of only finding my own feet at the time. And I had made arrangements with this person to meet her in a location that was miles away from where I lived.
For young people
And
watching this, there was no mobile phones back then,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, there was no mobile
Just
phones at the
so you
time
know.
either, right?
Yeah,
So I went to this place where I said I'd meet her. And I waited for like an hour.
I know.
Like I wait because I kept making excuses for her in my head, going, "Oh no, no, maybe the bus is late, or maybe there was mad traffic, right?" And
I'll
she
ring a
didn't show
bell.
up. She
Yeah.
didn't show up, and I went home, and I don't even think we had a phone, so I went to the pay phone, and I said to her, "What happened? You never came today." And she said, "Oh, we made that arrangement ages ago. I forgot about that." And I was
Now, I
like,
can totally
"Oh."
relate to that. I can relate to that happening over and over.
Like I was just like, "Oh, okay." I wouldn't forget that. That
Yeah.
was important to me. And at that moment, I felt so unimportant. I felt like a speck or shit on her shoe. But it took me, and I have to say, I went back many, many, many times
Yeah.
again with this person. I put my hand in the fire, and the fire still burns, people.
Yeah.
Now, I had to put massive, as I got older, I had to put massive boundaries and values in place with that person. Um, Thankfully,
Yeah.
thank God.
No, where I can totally relate. I do you know what's coming up for me? Young love, like, young friendships. Like, it's just so many times, and it's so debilitating when it happens over and over and over. But I
Mm.
am so glad that I eventually did find this work and learn to understand it and kind of break that cycle because it's awful. It
It is
really
awful,
is
and
awful.
I'm really glad that
Did
you
you?
said break the cycle.
Yeah. Did you say to the guys, if you're getting a light bulb moment here watching
Oh
this,
yeah, sorry.
if you find the emoji light bulb, oh, there's lots of love hearts coming in. That'll do too, love hearts. But if you
Yeah,
have a light bulb, if you can find the light bulb, if any of this is like, oh, give us the light bulb moment. And if you're saying, yeah, me too, give us the thumbs up
yeah,
here in the comments as well. And
yeah.
if
Or
you've any
even share
questions
your
for us,
story.
yeah,
If you
or
can
share your
identify with
story.
anything that Amanda and I are saying, you're in good company, you're part of the sisterhood. Get your stories in. Tell us how you're
Yeah,
feeling if we're triggering anything.
yeah,
But I'm glad that Amanda said there about breaking. Actually, before I say that, what I want to say is Amanda just said lots of love hearts coming in. They'll do too. I love the fact that both Amanda and I and the clients that we work with, when we get them to a certain point, that we actually can receive love, and that it's not in a braggadocious way. Amanda and I don't need those love hearts. We don't
mm-hmm,
need them. They're
mm-hmm.
lovely to receive. They are lovely to receive, and I will accept them with nothing but an open heart. Let it come, and I'll send it back, and I'll send it out, and it'll come. Okay. So what I want to say to you there, Amanda, about you saying you're glad you broke the cycle. What's in the bones comes out in the marrow. What's in the
Mm-hmm.
cat comes out in the kitten. And I have adults saying to me all the time, I don't want my kids to be like me.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah. I want my kids to be confident. I want my kids to be assertive. I want my kids to be this, to be that, to be the other, the opposite of how they're behaving. And I say to them, your children are buying a ticket to a show every day.
Yeah.
It's called the Mommy and Daddy Show. Whether you're there or whether he's there, it doesn't matter. Because you're showing up and you're showing them what a woman looks like, what a mother looks like, and what's the woman, wife, mother, woman, partner, mother, woman, single woman, mother. It doesn't matter what way you fall under that title, you're still showing up in that form. They're buying the ticket to the show and they're observing how you're behaving, not what you're saying.
Oh, 100%. And come here, Matt, if you're a mother watching this, you'll probably relate to this. When you look around and you hear your children say something, and they sound like you, or they're
Mm.
having a tantrum and they look like you, and you're like,
Mm.
oh, I didn't notice I was in that humor, or I didn't notice that. I'm seeing it in them.
Yes, yes.
They'll do what they see, not what
Yeah.
you tell them to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just won't.
And the same goes for the daddies. And I remember I did this live stream one day similar to this, and a woman said, my child's father is not on the scene. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. That child is still buying a ticket to the show where the man is not on the stage. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If you are an independent parent, whether you're male or whether you're female, and there is a person missing off the stage who made that little human, they are still buying the ticket to the show. So how you're speaking about that person, they're absorbing that. They do not listen to your words, they listen with your eyes. So we have to take responsibility for the values that we are displaying daily, the confidence levels that we have, the assertiveness levels that we have, the way that we take care of ourselves, what self-care looks like. Because I dread to think what way my children would turn out if I hadn't have worked out my values before I had my kids. They'd be two completely different people right now. And since then, obviously, I fine-tune my values all the time. You do the same, Amanda.
Oh my goodness, yes, 100%. And you'd be surprised in 6 months or 12 months, you will be surprised how the hierarchy, the priority of those values will change. And just this year, I actually did one for business and one for personal. They're not hugely apart, but there is a slight difference. I have all those values in my life, of course I do. But for business, and there's just a few. I always go by my top 5, and there's just slight differences in them. Just slight differences in them. But what that is the biggest one for me that what I wasn't having was peace. And we talk about the thoughts and the feelings and the everything showing up. Peace will always be my top value. Because for years, and this is what we're talking about today, I lived with no peace peace in my mind. The noise in there was like, it was like, oh, I don't know,
war zone.
Yeah, war zone, like people screaming. It was constantly negative. It was, as I said, mentioned earlier on, there was a brick. It was constantly putting myself down, constant battling. You should have said this, you should have done, and on and on and on. It never stopped. And on the outside, there was so much in the family. There was fighting, there was round. I had relationship after relationship that was just tragic. Like, you couldn't make the stuff up that I was attracting into my world. And so for me, like, the biggest thing is having that peace. There's nothing will I allow take that again. Yes. And I took, like, by not knowing, by not understanding, and by not having the consciousness to say, that's what that is. This is where it is in my life. This is where how important it is to my life. And this is where the work comes in. If you're day to day waking up and doing all this stuff, because we're all busy.
Yes.
So much to do in the day, in the week, in the year, and time goes by. And for me, it's taking time out to do this work. And sometimes it has to be away from the usual daily family work. And it doesn't matter if you know this stuff. Me and Nicola know this stuff. We still have to take time out to work on it.
Absolutely. You have to refine, because perfect example this morning. And I'm so glad I remembered to tell this story. When you have created an unhealthy habit for yourself through your values, A, it's very hard to break it. And B, when you do break it, it's very easy to slip back in to the old way. For example, I was making myself a cup of tea this morning. I haven't taken 2 sugars in my tea for 20 years. I take 1 level spoon in my tea for 20 years. Raw cane sugar, that's it. And because I was in autopilot mode, I put 2 sugars into my tea and I made me tea. And I went, Nicola, you don't take 2 sugars. Start again. Now, here's the crux of this. I think this is a lovely way to wrap up this live stream. When you realize that you did make a change in your values, when all you guys come to this workshop and you go through the birth and pains of finding out exactly who you are and what's important to you. When you do slip up, because we all slip up, I slip up, Amanda slips up, we slip up every now and again, okay? Do you continue to slip up consciously when you realize that you've made a mistake? Or do you go, hold up, I'm fighting for the new me here, start again? Really, really important. The neurological pathways that you have forged out for the current values that you have, you might not think that you're not operating from values at the moment. I'm telling you that you are. But more than likely, if you don't have your values in place, you're operating inside somebody else's values.
Yes.
And
we'll go big into that. On the 13th, we go into that, and that will really make more sense to you if it hasn't already. Game changer. And again, this morning, just like Nicola said there, had the very same thing happen to me. Had a chat with Ian about something to do with the kids, and he went, and I went away and I thought about it, and I went, if I continue to go down that line where I was trying to control, I'm going down the wrong path. And what I am trying to control is going to go further out of my control. And I had to go back into, that's my value, stop putting it on my kids.
Yes.
I was trying to put a value on the kids. I can't do that. They have their own set of values.
They're only on loan, as we said yesterday.
We only borrowed them.
We only borrowed them. They're not ours.
Yeah. There's loads of light bulbs coming in there. I'm just flicking through the comments there. I've seen a huge difference in my girls as I've changed and grown. Well done. That's Andrea McMillan. Mairead, light bulb. Lads, thanks so much. That's me and one of my older sisters, the manipulation and disrespect. I loved her so much, only working through it the past few months. Well done, you.
Well done.
Well done, you. So there's loads of comments coming in, loads of light bulbs, loads of thumbs up. And if you are watching it on the replay, put #replay so we'll know that you've taken the time out to watch this and interact with us.
Amanda, do you want to explain to everybody the competition that we're going to do?
Yes, I do. Woohoo! Who doesn't love a freebie?
Bring it on.
Yes. So as you know, we're here every day for the next 5 days. Today was just day 1, telling you what our life was like beforehand. So how can you go into the competition? We're going to give away 2 tickets for you and a pal on Friday. On Friday's live stream, we'll announce the winner for that. And how do you get in with a chance to win in these 2 fabulous tickets? 1, there's 3 things that you need to do. 3 things. The first thing is tag the pal, your partner, whoever it is that you would love to bring to this amazing workshop on the 13th of August in the Hilton. So tag that person. You don't know how to tag, you just put the @ symbol and then put their name, and that'll tag them as long as you're friends with them on Facebook. The second thing to do is ask us a question in here. Even if it is just what's going to happen on the day, or or ask us something that you're unsure of. So that creates, just have a little bit of quiet time to yourself. What question would I like to ask them? Because I guarantee you your subconscious mind knows the question. So just give yourself that breathing space. If the question's not coming, don't force it. Sit quietly and say, what if I could ask these pair anything, what would I ask them? And you'll know the answer. So ask us a question and then share out one or any of the live streams. And once you share, put #shared, and we will give you a shout out on the live stream. So if you're sharing when we're on the live streams this week, I'll try and keep an eye, and we'll give you that shout out, because I love hearing my name when someone's on a live.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Do you know who did that recently? And I actually nearly fell over. Paul Mort was on a live stream in Italy. He was doing some workshop somewhere, and I just wrote in a comment, I said, I'm so proud of you, Paul. And he read it out and he was like, oh, there's me, Paul. I was like, oh my God. So I could see me in the kitchen. I was like, wow.
Oh, it's just the best. It is the best. And that's how you're going to win. That's how you're going to win. Get involved. Tag a friend. ask a question, share the live stream. You need to do all three. I don't know who's going to track this, but we will have a look over everything on Thursday. We will decide the winner on Thursday, and we'll announce the winner on Friday. Friday, we are going to answer all the questions that you've asked us. Friday is our live Q&A day. So tomorrow we're going to talk about what life is like now and how incredible that is. And then on Friday will be our live Q&A, and they're your questions.
Yes.
This is again coming back to us, our value of honesty, integrity, and giving value to you and serving others. You ask us the questions, we'll answer them all live on our Friday live stream. Once you've done that, you're in with a chance to win the prize.
Can I shine a light
too?
Say that again.
Whoever you tag, get them to join in the competition.
Absolutely.
You have double chance of winning.
Absolutely. Can I shine a light on maybe some resistance to asking a question?
Yes, please.
So sometimes people say, oh no, I'm not typing that question. I look ridiculous. And what if the woman up the road who drives the new Beamer sees it, right? The woman up the road who drives new Beamer doesn't give a shit about you. That's the first thing. Second thing is, if you have a question, I guarantee you there'll be another 100 people that watch this live stream who have the exact same question, because we're all more similar than we are different. And the more organic, real, raw, open, honest questions we have, the more that we can specifically hone in on that for you for Friday. We're all about just getting to it, right? We're just going to get to it. Business.
100%, 100%. Let go of what other people are thinking. They're not coming in to save you. They're not coming in to pay your bills, and they're not even thinking about you. In actual fact, the only people who will see that and be moved by that is the one that are going, oh, I love that person for asking that question.
Yes, that's generally what happens. Other people reach out and go, I wanted to say the same thing.
Thanks for that. Oh, me too, me too. Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah, so and if you do see somebody asking a question and you think me too, I want you to encourage them and compliment them and say, yeah, exactly, me too. I get you, I hear you.
Love it, love it, love it.
That's how we're going to expand the energy of this. Amanda, wait till I tell you, I'm actually a little bit let loose at the moment, and I'll tell you why, right? I've always, as you guys well know, I've always just been myself. I just rock up as I am, I tell the truth. But see, since that TED Talk came out, I'm not just shifting. You know the way in my car anyway, there's 6 gears. There used to be only 5 gears onto my last car. I've gone past the 6th gear now. I'm in 7th gear now.
Fair play to you.
It's nearly like I've gotten a little bit more impatient with me wanting to be able to give out the info. Just give them the information, because life can be so hard. And life is so short, but it's so sweet. So while we're here, why not just make it quality? You know, why can't we just go for being the best rather than going for yellow pack? I left yellow pack in the 80s. I'm going for platinum level lifestyle, platinum level love, platinum level friendships, clients, community experiences, the whole shebang. I'm not hanging around with bronze or yellow pack. I'm hanging around with platinum. I'm giving platinum. I'm getting back platinum. And that's the current standard.
Amen, sister.
Amen, sister.
Let's raise it up. Let's raise it up here all week, because they're raising you up for Saturday the 13th. There was something else I was going to say there, and now it's completely slipped my mind, but I'm sure it'll come back to me for tomorrow. I know it was cool, whatever it was. it's just gone woo, because I'm so engrossed. Yes. So yeah, be the best that you can be. What does that mean to you? Tune in for tomorrow to see what it is for us.
Yes, exactly. And in the meantime, if you can't wait to see if you're going to be that one person that wins the tickets, you can purchase your tickets through my website, through Amanda's website, and we'll both put the link in underneath. And we do have limited space. There is limited space in the Hilton, as you know. And have a girly day. Do a girly day. Listen, I stopped asking my friends for, not that I asked my friends for presents, but I said to them, stop buying me presents. Buy me experiences. Yes. I want experiences with you. So from about 2 years ago, all my pals when they're buying me a gift for my birthday or for Christmas, all I get is experiences. And I'm like, yes, quality time with you. Love it. So buy quality
And
time for
learning
you.
together and growing together, to be there on that day, hugging each other and having that magic moments together. There's nothing like it. You know, go on the journey together. Don't just make yourself better. Bring someone along who you know would value that. And it's going to be a super, super day. I know it is. So we've done it before. We've done it before in a very small room. We've widened it up, and yet it's still 20% is already sold. So don't wait till Friday. Grab your ticket. If you're the winner, sure, you can give it on, pay it forward, or we can refund you.
Yes, exactly.
If you make a decision today, I'm going. Everything starts, like even to do your values, it starts with the decision you make. I'll try, I might, I'll see how I'm fixed. You've not made the decision. When you make the decision, then the growth is already starting to happen.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that.
You commit. You're committed. You're making changes.
Yeah, you know when people say, "I'll try and go," when you say try, it means you've already set yourself up for the potential of failure.
Yes.
No, you're either stop the grey language, black or white. Get yourself off the bleeding fence because you're getting splinters in your arse. You're either in this job or you're not in the job and looking after yourself, the business with you. End of story. Right.
We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there.
Go back out to the sunshine, send me emails.
I look forward to seeing your tickets coming in, guys. I put the link there in the comments. Get in, make the decision. Say yes to yourself.
It was great to spend time with you again today, Amanda, and thank you ever so much again to yourself and Ian for yesterday. We were displaying our values of getting out into nature and connecting with each other. And
well, we'll talk more about that tomorrow because that's part of the, being in your values. So we definitely discuss that tomorrow. You'll have loads of questions for tomorrow as well.
We will. So listen, take it easy. All you have a gorgeous day. Thanks so much. You've showed up in your droves here for live at 2 o'clock. And we'll catch you tomorrow. All right. Take it easy.
Take care, folks. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.